Robert Kiyosaki wisely said, "It's not how much money you make, it's how much you keep that makes you wealthy." This isn't the usual advice like, "Don't buy that Starbucks coffee," or "Cancel that Netflix subscription." Instead, I want to talk about the biggest financial mistakes people make. These are things I've experienced myself and seen others go through. Here are some of the major financial pitfalls you must avoid. 1. Designer clothes. I know many people, including some close friends, might disagree with my views on designer clothes. Let me share an experience that taught me a lot about the true cost of these luxury items. It all started when I needed new clothes for a job interview. I wanted to look my best and make a great impression, so I decided to visit a high-end designer store. I had heard that wearing designer clothes could boost my confidence and make me appear more professional. Eager to fit in, I walked into the store, where I quickly noticed that nothing had price tags. After picking out a suit, shirt, and tie, I went to the register only to find that the total cost was way beyond what I had in my wallet. The sales clerk, seeing my hesitation, suggested I sign up for the store's credit card. It came with a $1,500 limit and a tempting 15% discount on my first purchase. Without much thought, I agreed and bought the clothes, feeling quite pleased with myself. The reality hit me hard when the first bill arrived. The interest rate was incredibly high, and after a year of making minimum payments, I realized I hadn't paid off any of the principal amount. I was trapped in a cycle of debt, all for the sake of owning designer clothes. This was a tough but valuable lesson on the dangers of store credit cards and the true cost of trying to impress others with material things. While designer clothes are often well made, you can find high-quality items at a fraction of the price if you shop smartly. Paying a premium for a brand name isn't always justified. Many middle-class people are drawn to designer clothes because they see them as a symbol of success and a way to cover insecurities. Wearing designer clothes can make people feel like they belong to a higher social class, boosting their self-esteem and social standing. Constant exposure to celebrities and influencers flaunting designer brands creates a desire to emulate that lifestyle, even if it's financially out of reach. But it's important to focus on what truly matters: living within your means, being confident in who you are, and making smart financial choices. 2. Strip clubs and casinos. Avoiding strip clubs and casinos in your 20s is wise for several reasons. I've never been to a strip club or a casino myself, not because I feel superior, but because I've experienced plenty in my life early on. When I say to avoid these places, it's not from a place of judgment. I do want to try them out someday just for the experience. However, the key difference is that if I were to lose $5,000 in a casino, it wouldn't affect me financially. For many people, especially those making around $60,000 a year, blowing $3,000 in a casino or strip club is financially irresponsible. Many people go to casinos or strip clubs with the wrong mindset. They might think, "I have $5,000, and maybe I can triple it," but they forget that they could just as easily lose it all. This kind of thinking only focuses on the potential positives and ignores the substantial risks. Similarly, some people go to strip clubs and fall for the illusion that the strippers actually care about them, which can lead to poor financial decisions. These activities aren't inherently bad if approached with the right intentions and the financial capacity to handle the losses. But in your 20s, when you're building your future, it's better to spend your money more wisely. 3. Going into debt to buy a fancy car. When you start earning money, it's tempting to upgrade your car to impress your friends or family and show off your success. We see lots of videos of young people buying luxury cars like Teslas, Audi, or Lamborghinis on YouTube, but trust me, this isn't a wise move. Today, when you go to buy a new car, the dealership often asks how much you can afford to pay per month. They focus on selling you financing options that stretch out over long periods to maximize their profit. Most cars depreciate very quickly, meaning they lose their value rapidly. Even if you buy the car outright, it could lose half its value within a year. When you factor in the interest from financing, the true cost becomes even higher. The only thing you gain from buying a new car is the ability to say, "Look at me with my new car," but in reality, it's more like saying, "Look at me with my new debt." Instead, consider buying a used car that's already taken the biggest hit in depreciation. With a bit of research, you can find a reliable used car that you can drive for a couple of years and sell for nearly the same price you paid for it, or maybe a bit less. This approach minimizes your financial loss, with fuel and insurance being your main ongoing costs. you can still enjoy the benefits of having a nice car without the heavy financial burden of buying new. It's about being smart with your money and making choices that support your long-term financial stability. 4. Jewelry. When you buy jewelry, its value typically drops by 40% to 60% immediately. So, unless you're buying jewelry as a gift for your mom or wife, it's usually not a good investment. Buying jewelry for yourself often means you're losing a significant portion of its value right away. For instance, unlike jewelry, watches can be a better investment. Certain luxury watches tend to appreciate over time, especially if they become vintage or collectible. Spending a few $1,000,000 on a watch makes sense to me because it's both enjoyable and a safe place to park money. On the other hand, spending $10,000 on a piece of jewelry doesn't seem necessary. The key is understanding that it's not just about how much you spend but also how much you might lose. With certain watches and collectible items, your money is safe because they hold or even increase in value. With jewelry, you're often just throwing money away. I see many people in their 20s influenced by celebrities and rappers who buy expensive chains and custom pieces. This isn't a smart financial move, so my advice is to avoid spending a lot on jewelry. Invest in things that hold value, and think carefully about how you're using your money. Less is more these days, remember that. 5. Business class and first class flights. Before you dismiss this, hear me out. Business class and first class tickets are fantastic investments when you have substantial financial resources, especially if you're traveling for business or an important event where you need to be at your best. In such cases, flying business or first class can make a huge difference in your performance upon arrival. However, when it comes to personal travel, you can't write these expenses off as business costs, so it's crucial to compare the benefits. For instance, if you're flying to Bali and spend $6,000 on a round-trip business class ticket versus $1,200 for an economy ticket, you're saving $4,800 by choosing economy. That $4,800 could fund a fantastic experience in Bali, potentially covering a month or even 2 months of living expenses there. It's easy to get tempted by the luxury of business class, but consider what else you could do with that money. Be careful, once you fly long-haul business class, it's incredibly hard to go back to economy. This can become a recurring expense for the rest of your life. Try to delay that first business class experience as long as possible, because there are often better ways to spend your money. 6. Don't buy penny stocks. While some people have made a lot of money with penny stocks, it's a risky bet. Believe it or not, the average yearly return for penny stocks is actually -30%. Penny stocks are very high-risk investments because they usually belong to new companies with little information and history available. This makes them very volatile, which means their prices can change a lot and very quickly. They have small market caps, the total value of all their shares, and low liquidity, meaning not many shares are bought and sold, making it easy for the prices to be manipulated. For example, big companies like Nvidia have market caps of almost $3 trillion. This means that even if some big investors sell their shares, it doesn't affect the price much. But penny stocks usually have market caps under $300 million, so if a few big investors sell their shares, the stock price can drop significantly. When I was younger, I invested in penny stocks and got lucky during the era of The Wolf of Wall Street. There were large rooms full of salesmen on the phone pushing up the prices of any stocks they liked. These places were called boiler rooms. They pumped up the stock prices so they could sell at the peak and make huge profits. I happened to buy some of these penny stocks and sell them before the big investors did, so I made a nice profit. You might wonder why I'm advising against penny stocks if I made money from them. Looking back, I realized I was lucky, and the potential losses weren't worth the risk, so it's better to avoid penny stocks altogether. I hope you learned something new from today's video. Remember, it's not how much you earn but how you spend your money that makes you wealthy. If you want to grow your wealth, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day.